What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering, and some spicy new news coming out of the Gina Carano versus Lucasfilm story. And I know this story is certainly winding down, and as news comes out, I'll try to compile it all together instead of making 3 or 4 videos, just one of the spiciest nuggets for that day. I hope that you appreciate all the coverage on this channel, whether it's my video game stuff or the Star Wars stuff. And if you haven't yet, please do click that red subscribe button down below. It'll be the only way you can find my videos, as YouTube does not show them up in the general search. Or if you're watching on some alt-tech platform, Parler, Rumble, BitChute, or Odyssey, please subscribe there. There's some interesting news being spun up. The Gina Carano versus Pedro Pascal. Jon Favreau, new interesting news about him, as well as another embarrassing moment for Disney. This via the Daily Wire. More people searched Gina Carano on Google last week than Disney or The Mandalorian. Now, to be fair, The Mandalorian isn't airing right now. It would have been a bigger burn probably if it was WandaVision. Earlier this month, it was reported that Disney had fired conservative actress. And by the way, I noticed that the Daily Wire keeps branding her as a conservative. I don't know. Obviously, I can't know if she herself had told them that that's how she identifies politically, but I have not heard her at any point say that she's a conservative. I think we can now see it's pretty clear she voted for Donald Trump, but that doesn't make you a conservative. Now, for the days that followed, Carano dominated both news and social media after it was announced that the former MMA star would partner with the Daily Wire to produce and star in an upcoming film exclusively for the Daily Wire. Daily Wire members. The news went viral with massive news coverage. Last week, Carano hit the top spot on IMDb's star rating, and her action figure skyrocketed in price after Hasbro announced that it would be ending production of the run of Carano's Mandalorian character, Cara Dune. The growing prominence of Carano is further demonstrated when we study internet searches using Google Trends, the Google tool which allows us to analyze frequency of search queries. It appears that Carano is also experiencing monumental popularity online. The period of February 7th to the 13th, with Carano being fired on the 10th, announcing her partnership with the Daily Wire on the 12th, Google Trends indicated that interest in Carano beat The Mandalorian, with searches for Carano occurring more than 3 times as often as the Disney Plus show. The same was also true of Disney, with searches of Carano almost 80% more often. WandaVision, the latest hit show on Disney Plus, lauded by many critics, was beaten by Carano by over 20%. After Pedro Pascal, the star of The Mandalorian, faced criticism for his past tweets comparing border control to the same things that Gina talked about, Carano was 10 times more popular online in terms of searches. Now, to be fair, this is obviously a lot of... there's a lot more interest in this than just Gina Carano. There's the culture battle. This is obviously being branded as like a, liberals versus conservatives things, which I really hate. It really should just be about, people's rights to hold their own political mindsets without fear of being persecuted at your job, which is ultimately what happened to Gina Carano. But interestingly enough, we now are seeing some more news on Jon Favreau. Now, again, consider the source. I know there's another YouTuber out there that's producing a ton of videos on Carano with headlines that are just, wild speculation be presented as fact when never providing any of their sources. That's fueling a lot of it. I don't know where they're getting their information. It's not from We Got This Covered, which is already a sketch place. But, you see we know that, okay, so the headline says Jon Favreau was reportedly on Gina Carano's side before the recent social media posts. Now, we know that this was true. This was reported by enough news outlets that, there's enough smoke, it's fair to say that there's fire, so to speak. And that's how you got to treat these rumor type sites. Look at what they're using as a source, and if they're all using the same exact thing, you treat it as a grain of salt. But this article says, according to our intel, the Iron Man director and Gina Carano were close, and he always had her back. during the repeated Twitter campaigns against her, but as a Jewish man, The Mandalorian's creator and showrunner eventually drew the line, washing his hands of the matter following the post that ultimately wound up costing her the biggest role of her career. I would argue that it's probably her biggest role, the biggest role of her career to date. I guess being a part of Star Wars is a big deal, but I mean, it's not like she was even in every episode. I mean, I think it's possible for her to go up from here. With Newsweek now reporting, Gina Carano calls out the Mandalorian star Pedro Pascal for sharing Ted Cruz's number. Gina Carano, the actress, fired in February from Disney's Star Wars franchise, writing, "I adore Pedro." Actually, I think she's Pedro. "I adore him," Carano said in an interview with conservative commentator Ben Shapiro posted online on February 21st. "I know he's done some hurtful things. I don't think posting anybody's number on social media is okay." Carano was referring to Pascal's January 9th tweet in which he posted Cruz's office phone number. In a tweet, he encouraged followers to share their thoughts with the senator, presumably because of Cruz's January 6th congressional votes against certifying the election. Now, to be honest, is this like a cringe move? Yeah. But hey, these are publicly elected officials. I don't see any problem with their public office numbers being out there. It's not like Pedro Pascal shared his personal cell phone number. Is it cringe? Yeah. But look, I want to be able to call my politicians and give them the what's for if I don't like what they're doing. That's what they signed up for. At the time, it was like a cringe move, but it's no different than, let's say, someone posting, the customer support for Coca-Cola when they were, putting their employees through that garbage training. Like, you have these systems, these feedback loops in place. The New York Daily News, the Canadian edition of the Entertainment Tonight, and numerous social media commentators accuse Pascal of doxing Cruz, refers to the publicly pushing a person's private number to incite bad behavior against them. However, since Cruz's number is already publicly available on his office website, Pascal's action did not fit the literal definition of doxing. Regardless, some accuse Pascal of trying to incite bad behavior. I mean, of course he wanted people to call him. Am I going to simp for a politician not getting angry phone calls? Nope. But it's interesting how, they're trying to spin this. They really want this battle between Pedro Pascal and Gina Carano. She's just not having it. Gina Carano has no hard feelings against Pedro Pascal after the Mandalorian firing. I mean, there's nothing to indicate that he had anything to do with it. At the same time, maybe he, is it possible, since they had such, wildly different political opinions, knowing what we know about people on that side of the aisle, is it possible? Yeah, but there's no evidence of that. The media wants it that way. The media, because Pedro has all the right politics, they want it to be that. But, Gina has never taken that bait. Then you have garbage sites like Inverse. Gina Carano fired how an army of Twitter stans changed Star Wars forever. Imagine viewing stans as anything positive. Calling somebody a stan for something is simply a rebrand of drone or moron. But ultimately, this article is correct. Like, you say, "I'm crying, it only took 4 minutes," tweeted Kennedy when Gina blocked her. Later, Kennedy, who asked to remain anonymous behind her Twitter account, reflected on the moment. She didn't owe anyone a reply. I mean, they're literally giving interviews on being blocked by Gina Carano. Don't they see what a hilarious self-own this is? Like, this is what I always say about these weirdos, these like Hollywood worship weirdos, okay? I know I've made this exact point in the past, that when they get blocked by a celebrity, or when Drumpf blocked them, that was like the biggest moment in their life. That was like the first time that they got the attention that they so desperately craved. They got a little bit of acknowledgement in their mind, even if it was some social media intern blocking them. That was the biggest moment of their life. Carano claimed people were being mean to her for months, piling on to put pronouns in her bio. Well, they were. So she decided to find a way to make light of the hate, echoing the, beep, bop, boop. Beep, bop, boop, beep. Wait, boop, bop, beep. And we know that Twitter, the power of stands, and the vast cafeteria of the Star Wars fandom, there are all sorts of tables. There are the rumor Redditors, the theory YouTubers, the podcasters, the novel evangelists, the reactors, the shippers. Get rid of the shippers. The list goes on. But Twitter, there's one main group single-handedly fueling the enthusiasm for Star Wars. Stans. Disagree. Stan accounts are recognizable by their handles, usually a mishmash of Star Wars words or names and a profile picture of some popular character. Like any Stan, any fandom, you can find them in the replies of tweets with fan cams, fan-made montages of celebrities, and characters set to pop songs. This is adorable when it comes to, say, members of the BTS or Jughead from Riverdale, but it's less cute when it's focused on lesser-known aliens like Kit Fisto or Yaddle. Still, Star Wars Stan Twitter thrives, from teaching Pedro Pascal how to properly use the skull emoji to expressing laughter to live tweeting Mandalorian episodes in the early hours of the morning. The demographic of Star Wars Stan Twitter is mainly teenagers raised with social media. They know its power. They know how to use it. I've been overwhelmed myself multiple times by Stan Twitter. It's so hard to think about how overwhelming it can be for actors, says Reggie, a Stan, who posts under the handle "Who Gives a Crap" and asks to remain anonymous. However, there's a difference between getting without reason hate or being called out for the wrong actions. These are people that dedicate their lives to worshiping Hollywood. I can't think of a more pathetic existence. That they have a separate account, that they simply worship some Hollywood actor or actress. I don't care if you're a teenager. Read a book. Go outside and touch some grass. And the idea that this is any type of thing to celebrate is absurd to me. Now that things tend to calm down a little bit until we get any kind of official statements from Jon Favreau, or to see how the Mandalorian handles things with Cara Dune. I'm sure they'll just not address it at all. Much of this remains speculation, but remember that these Stan people are losers. They aren't really fans of the show. They lack any real self-identity, so they make it up by being a Stan. And they live and die by getting that one interaction by somebody. Don't be this pathetic. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.